Please join in singing hymn 347, Gather the Spirit. Contact the church to check out your hymnal so you can sing along with services.
Gather the Spirit, harvest the power, our separate fires will kindle one flame. Witness the mystery of this hour, our trials in this light appear all the same. Gather in peace, gather in thanks, gather in sympathy now and then. Gather in hope, compassion and strength. Gather to celebrate once again. Gather the Spirit of heart and mind. Seeds for the sowing are laid in store. Nurtured in love and a conscience refined, with body and spirit united once more. Gather in peace, gather in thanks, gather in sympathy now and then. Gather in hope, compassion and strength. Gather to celebrate once again. Gather the Spirit growing in all, drawn by the moon and fed by the sun. Winter to spring and summer to fall, the chorus of life resounding as one. Gather in peace, gather in thanks, gather in sympathy now and then. Gather in hope, compassion and strength. Gather to celebrate once again.
Good morning. It's so good to be with you. Our opening words this morning are by Leslie Ahuva Fales, entitled All That We Have Been, All That We Will Become. All that we have been separately and all that we will become together is stretched out before and behind us, like stars scattered across a canvas of sky. We stand at the precipice, arms locked together like tandem skydivers, working up the courage to jump. Tell me, friends, what have we got to lose? Our fear of failure, our mistrust of our own talents. What have we got to lose? A poverty of spirit, the lie that we are alone? What wonders await us between the first leap and the moment our feet, our wheels, however we move our bodies across this precious earth, touch down softly on unknown soil? What have we got to lose that we can't replace with some previously unimaginable joy? And so, may we have courage in our leaping and gratitude in our landing. And let us begin today. I light this chalice to remind us of the light of this community, of the love that holds us all, and of our deep interconnectedness. I invite you to join me in the recitation of our shared covenant. Love is the spirit of this congregation, and service is its prayer. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
Listen to the sound of my voice. Can you feel the beat of my heart? Listen to the questions I have. Listen to me. It's all very simple to see what we need. Give us hope. My voice is calling. Can you see? Look in my eyes. Can you feel? My hand is reaching. Give us hope, and we'll show you the way. Listen to the sound of my voice. Can you feel the beat of my heart? Listen to the questions I have. Listen to me. We are the future. Help us believe. Give us hope. My voice is calling. Can you see? Look in my eyes. Can you feel? My hand is reaching. Give us hope, and we'll show you the way. Take my hand now, look in my eyes. Tell me what you see. Give us hope. My voice is calling. Can you see? Look in my eyes. Can you feel? My hand is reaching. Give us hope, and we'll show you the way. Give us hope. My voice is calling. Can you see? Look in my eyes. Can you feel? My hand is reaching. Give us hope, and we'll show you the way. Show you the way.
My voice is calling.
Show you the way.
My voice is calling. Show you the way.
There was a day this summer when my partner Mimi and I decided to head from her, now our home in Providence, back down to a South County beach. It was one of those 90-plus days, sticky with humidity, and the only thing that sounded good was cooling off in the water. But it's a pandemic, so we didn't just pack up and go. We thought about where the fewest people might be, we packed our own lunch, and eventually we set off. And it didn't go well. Well, it didn't start that way. We tried one beach and the lot was full there already. Come back late afternoon, they said. Maybe it will ease by then. We stopped at another beach, but because of the parking restrictions and social distancing, even that much larger beach's lot was full. No waiting, the sign read. At this point, I had become, and Mimi will attest to this, both cranky and a little desperate. I know that these were overblown emotions about not getting to the beach, but it wasn't just about the beach. It was about craving normality, familiarity, and ease. And at this point, truth be told, we were both eating the lunch we had packed for the beach as we drove because we were hungry, and we talked about whether the beach day would be a bust and if we would just wind up going back home. Finally, at 3, we found both parking and a safe place to be. We set up our stuff and we got immediately into the water. And it was good. It was so good. It was better than I remember that beach being, with clear, cool water, perfect waves, and smooth sand beneath our feet. It was perfect, glorious. And my mood shifted immediately. We wound up staying in South County well into the evening, watching the sunset from a rock at Fisherman's Cove. And for me, while that day ended really beautifully, it reminded me of my own heightened response to external stressors, to notice where the changes in the world at moments wreak a certain unusual uncertainty in me and in you. So as I welcome us to this congregational year, this one where we gather virtually, I don't just see this reactivity in me, I see it in you too. And it's clear where it comes from, a desire to be back together in person. So much not knowing about our future as a community or as a country, the all-pervasive uncertainty. And I wish I could make it different for us, that I could wave my magic ministerial wand, the one, of course, that I don't have, wave my wand and make it all better. But that I could do that, I would. What I can do, what is within my capability, is to remind and lead us towards spiritual sustenance, to help ground us all with a bit of certainty in a very uncertain world. This year, worship and other programming is all aimed toward that same end. We'll be following a thematic ministry, a worship theme for each month. Renewal, listening, healing, stillness. This is where we'll focus these sort of grounding themes, finding means of reflection and deepening each and every month. Filling our spirits so that when the inevitable challenges and unknowns present themselves, we're maybe a little bit more ready or resilient in that moment. Some of you have read in the newsletter that I'll be leading, beginning late this month, an 8-week adult education effort on the 7 principles and the proposed 8th principle. The idea here too is to understand how and why these principles exist and discern how and where now they guide us. Everything will come back to this, to creating the grounding that we can. This month's theme is renewal. Excuse me. Which feels perfect as we enter this new congregational year. This week of Ingathering and Water Communion. And typically it's the process of water communion that helps renew our bonds, the mingling of shared journeys in a single vessel. And of course, that's not the process we get to have this year. Bonds, though, can still be strengthened and renewed. I'm wondering if you've noticed the tides this summer. I have. The ebbing and the flowing of the water, in during high tide, out during low tide, and how a single location, such as Narragansett Beach or Scarborough, it changes so much over the course of a single day as waters flow in and out in predictable cycles. So too here. We're like that flowing beach or any tidal area, really. Our energy and connection is greater or lesser depending on so many factors, sometimes flowing easily through the gravity of a shared wave, the common journey, and at other times feeling isolated and far from our shared shore. And one can forget that the waters will return and the journey will ease, that will flow towards one another, basking in the buoyancy of the water which holds us together. So this first week of the congregational year, the invitation is to think about that renewal of our bonds. What is it that binds you to this congregation, both in so-called normal times and now? And how, even from the imperfection of our virtual world, do we renew, deepen, and strengthen our bonds? Because I know it's possible. I keep thinking of all things about Mr. Rogers, about that television show, how this guy in a sweater with a chair and an honest way of being sat there each week, far from the humans he was speaking to, and yet connected to their heart. Children and their parents, they were devoted to this show for generations. He somehow took the virtual world and made it seem right there, tangible. All the kids had to do was turn on the TV, sit there and be entranced. That was their part. I need you to do your part too. Some of you have said, I'll be back when we can meet in person. I'm not a Zoomer. And I've sat with that, unable to name why it feels problematic. But I know why now. One of my favorite phrases, and you know this because I use it all the time, is that we need each other. And when I say that, I'm quoting a colleague, the Reverend Teresa Ayn Soto. And when they say that, they mean it both specifically and generally. The specifics is that they are differently abled, and they quite literally need the support of others in ways that some of us who are more able-bodied might not. But they're also making a more theological claim, one that feels ever so real right now, that we all need each other in this challenging, confusing, and unsettling time we find ourselves in. So when I quote them, I mean we need each other in large and small ways. Our power, our strength, our purpose as a faith community is in coming together to find ways to hold each other through these times while also working towards a better world. So both staff and many members of this congregation have been hard at work throughout the pandemic, doing the work of keeping the congregation running and finding new and creative ways to build connection to one another. To name but a few, the Financial, Communications, Pastoral, and Facilities Committee have been working hard. The board as well. The garden continues to be maintained beautifully and lovingly by a dedicated handful of people. There is a weekly online check-in that's been going for more than 6 months now and continues. There's a group of more than 20 of us that have been meeting since mid-June to work on anti-racism. There have been small groups meeting online, and I've also run a spiritual small group during this time. A lot of us are connecting online in really profound ways. Those that have stayed involved have found that the relationships are actually strengthening and deepening for them in many ways. But we need you. We need all of you. And I kind of exempt parents from this statement because I know the parents are too busy to do anything, but let me go on. The technology is a learning curve. I know. We're online a lot. I agree. And it feels so imperfect and so impersonal. And yet I boldly and lovingly ask, if you're standing on the sidelines saying, I'll be back when we're in person, when it's not Zoom, can you rethink that? This community, this world needs you now. That's the invitation this water communion, this Ingathering Sunday. Return to this place, even online, that you've so long called home, to the people who love you and need you. Let us renew our bonds to this community, even in and perhaps especially in this time of virtual gathering. I'm asking you to renew your commitment to this congregation. To, for those that can, show up again online, to learn together, to work together, and to seek justice together. Because with each other, all things are possible. And the renewal of community is worth every bit of effort made. So may we find that task to be worthy, and may we seek it freely and with joy. Blessed be.
Please join in singing hymn 100, I've Got Peace Like a River, verses 1, 2, 5, and 6.
I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain, I've got joy like a fountain, I've got joy like a fountain in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain, I've got joy like a fountain, I've got joy like a fountain in my soul. I've got tears like the raindrops, I've got tears like the raindrops, I've got tears like the raindrops in my soul. I've got tears like the raindrops, I've got tears like the raindrops, I've got tears like the raindrops in my soul. I've got strength like a mountain, I've got strength like a mountain, I've got strength like a mountain in my soul. I've got strength like a mountain, I've got strength like a mountain, I've got strength like a mountain in my soul.
I extinguish this chalice, this flame, but not its light, the light we take with us out into the world, sharing with those we encounter on our journey. Before we close our worship hour, a reminder that at 11 a.m. each Sunday, no matter what time the service ends, so even if the service ends at 10:40, coffee hour will be at 11. You'll find the link to coffee hour right below the link that you used to access this worship service. I hope you join us. I close with the words familiar to some within this community, words of reminder you once said with regularity, words of affirmation and comfort to us all. It is a blessing to be. It is a blessing to be here. It is a blessing to be here together. It is a blessing to be here together now. Please join us in our closing song.
Carry the flame of peace and love until we meet again. Carry the flame of peace and love until we meet again. Carry the flame of peace and love until we meet again.